Imagine Detroit back in 1879.
Oh, yeah.
You've got uh, trains chugging along, horses clip-clopping down the streets,
Right.
and then you've got these newfangled automobiles. But really, they were more like playthings for the super rich back then.
Yeah, pretty much.
So picture this. A 16-year-old farm boy shows up in this bustling city, more at home tinkering with engines than plowing fields.
Okay, I'm following you.
Now, what if I told you, just 35 years later, half the cars on the planet would bear this young man's name?
Wow, that's a pretty bold statement.
It sounds unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
But that's exactly the story we're diving into today. The incredible story of Henry Ford.
You know, what's really striking is how quickly things changed back then. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it. To go from a simple life on a farm to becoming a global titan of industry, all in just a few decades.
It's amazing.
It really shows you how fast technology was moving at the turn of the 20th century.
Absolutely. And to really dig into this story, we've got some fascinating stuff for you today. We've got excerpts that detail Henry Ford's early life, those first hints of his genius with machines, his absolute drive, and of course, the innovations that completely shook up the whole car industry.
That's right. And our goal in this deep dive, well, we want to really unpack this incredible journey
Yeah.
to understand those key turning points, the motivations that fueled his ambition, and the innovative ideas that took him from a farm in Michigan to the top of the automotive world.
Right.
And maybe even more importantly, what can we learn from all this about innovation itself, adapting to change,
Yeah.
and the sheer power of pursuing your vision?
Okay, so let's rewind all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
Henry Ford was born in 1863 on his father William's farm in Dearborn, Michigan, not too far from Detroit.
Right.
Eldest of 6 kids. And like you'd expect back then, everyone figured who would take over the farm someday, you know.
Uh-huh.
But that was the last thing young Henry wanted. From everything we've read, he absolutely hated farming.
Huh. I guess I can see that.
He saw it as backbreaking, slow, and honestly just plain boring.
Yeah, I get it.
There's this great quote from Ford himself. He said, "I never had any particular love for the farm. It was the mother on the farm I loved."
Ah, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it really shows you where his heart was.
Yeah.
And formal education? Well, it wasn't exactly his thing either.
No?
He only went to school up to the 8th grade.
Wow.
It seems like his real learning, the stuff that mattered to him, happened outside the classroom.
Makes sense. He was definitely a hands-on kind of guy.
Absolutely. From a very young age, he was drawn to anything mechanical.
You see that early on, right, with that pocket watch?
Exactly. His dad gave him a pocket watch when he was just 12.
Uh-huh.
And what does he do? He takes it apart, figures out how it works, and puts it back together again.
That's impressive.
I know, right? And he didn't stop there. He started fixing watches for everyone in the neighborhood.
So he was like the neighborhood watch doctor?
Exactly. It really shows you he had a natural talent, a knack for understanding how things worked.
Yeah.
But then, when he was 13, something happened that really changed everything. A school trip took him to Detroit, and he saw a steam engine for the very first time.
Ah, the steam engine. A marvel of the industrial age.
And from that moment on, he was hooked, completely obsessed with these powerful machines.
Obsessed, huh?
And get this, by the time he was 15, he built his own steam engine.
No way.
A farm boy with almost no formal training. It's credible.
It really shows you he was a self-starter, driven to learn and create.
Then came a huge blow. His mother, Mary Ford, passed away.
Oh, that's sad.
They were incredibly close, and her death really hit him hard.
I can imagine.
It also made him hate the farm even more. It was full of too many memories.
Yeah.
So at just 16, against his father's wishes, he packed up and left for Detroit.
Wow, a big decision.
It was his escape, a chance to start fresh in a city that was booming with industry and opportunity.
And Detroit in 1879 was a city transformed by technology.
Oh, absolutely.
The steam engine had changed everything.
Yeah.
Factories were springing up everywhere.
Right.
And young men like Ford flocked there, eager to be part of this new industrial world.
And Ford, he dove right in. His first job was at a place that made streetcars,
Okay.
but it didn't last long.
Oh, what happened?
He was fired after only 6 days.
Ouch. That's gotta be tough.
Not the best start.
No kidding.
But he didn't give up, did he?
What did he do?
He landed an apprenticeship at a machine shop, making a measly $2.60 a week.
That's barely enough to survive on.
It wasn't much. And to make ends meet, he took on a second job at night.
Oh, wow. Another job. What did he do?
He repaired watches. That childhood skill came in handy.
Full circle. So he's working all day, then fixing watches all night.
Long hours, tough work.
Yeah, he was hustling.
But even with all that, he still found time to study, to experiment with machines in his spare time.
So even when he's exhausted, he's still learning, still tinkering.
It's like this drive, this passion for mechanics was just burning inside him.
That's the mark of a true innovator, right? That constant desire to learn and improve.
Absolutely. And then around age 19, he went back to the family farm for a bit.
Oh, so he went back. I thought he hated farming.
He did, but even back on the farm, his mind was on machines.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
His dad had bought this portable steam engine, and Ford, he just couldn't resist tinkering with it.
He was drawn to it like a moth to a flame.
Exactly. He got so good at working with these engines, a neighbor actually paid him to operate one for him.
Really? So he was basically a freelance steam engine consultant.
Pretty much. And word got around about his skills.
So what happened next?
The Westinghouse Engine Company. They hired him as a rep.
Westinghouse, huh? Big company.
It was a big deal. His job was to travel around, setting up and servicing their steam tractor engines.
So he's gaining experience, building his reputation.
Absolutely. And it's around this time, in 1885, that he meets Clara Jane Bryant.
Ah, the love story begins.
They get engaged the next year, and his dad, trying to be helpful, gives them 40 acres of land as a wedding gift.
40 acres, that's generous.
It was. But you know Henry,
What, he wasn't interested in becoming a farmer?
not a chance. He had his sights set on something much bigger.
Right, he was destined for more than just tilling the land.
Exactly. So in 1891, Henry and Clara, they moved back to Detroit to a small apartment.
Back to the city life.
Back to the action. And here's where things get really interesting. Ford discovers a new type of engine, the gas engine.
The gas engine, huh? That's a big shift from steam.
Huge. He reads about it in a British magazine, and he's fascinated by this new technology, especially the work of Nicholas Otto,
Nicholas Otto, wasn't he the one who made a more efficient gas engine?
the one and only.
Mhm.
See, steam engines, they took forever to start up, but Otto's design, much faster, much more efficient. Yeah, it was a revelation for Ford, a glimpse into the future of power.
But I bet there was a learning curve, right?
Oh, absolutely. He understood the basics, but this whole idea of an engine powered by an electric spark, it was a bit of a mystery.
Electricity was still pretty new back then.
So what does he do? He takes a night job at the Edison Illuminating Company.
Edison Illuminating, as in Thomas Edison.
The very same. They use the steam engine to power lights for about 1,000 homes.
Okay.
And Ford, with his steam engine experience, he's a perfect fit.
Right.
His main job was to keep that engine running, which gave him lots of downtime.
Downtime that I bet he put to good use.
You bet. He used that time to study electricity, to really master this new force that was changing the world.
That's smart. He's essentially getting paid to learn.
Exactly. Talk about a brilliant move. And during this time, he also becomes a dad.
Ah,